Hello everyone. Once again I welcome you all in this lecture of the fundamentals of manufacturing processes. So this is lecture number 7, and in the last lecture we have completed the second unit, which is a casting. Okay, third unit is basically based on the welding processes, but I just want to start first the fourth unit, then we'll discuss about the third unit, that is a welding. Okay, so today we are starting the unit number 4. Okay, which is based on the basics of the metal cutting operations. Fine. So first of all, let's discuss what is the content that we are going to discuss in this. Okay, and then we will start one by one. So first, we will start with the purpose and the principle. The purpose and the principle of metal cutting. Of metal cutting, or like metal cutting is completely whatever the machines we have in this uh, in our laboratories, like in general purpose machining, so in which if we talk about any of the machining operations, in which basically the metal cutting is the main important part. So here we can also say like purpose and the principle of the metal cutting, or like machining operations. Okay, or machining we can say. Okay, so then we will discuss first this one, and then we'll move to the concept of generatrix and directrix. Okay, then we'll discuss about the basic terminology, the basic terminology of metal cutting. That what are the elements that we have in the metal cutting operations. Okay, and then we will discuss about the relationship. There are different types of the relationship, because when we will discuss about the basic terminology, so there are different elements are there, like workpiece, chip, and tool. So, and there are different types of the angle that when we are going for a machining, we are keeping this tool at different types of the angle. So first of all, we will find out the relationship between relationships. So these relationships can be like in between the phi, which is a shear angle. Then it is a chip thickness ratio, that is R, and the alpha, which is a rake angle. Don't worry, I will discuss it one by one in the metal cutting terminology. Then we will discuss about these things. Okay, so first we will discuss about the relationship between the R, phi, and alpha. Then we will discuss about the relationship between the velocities. So here we have a cutting velocity, we are representing with the V. Then we have a chip velocity, that is VC, and the shear velocity, which is VS. Okay. After discussing this one, we'll move to the main important part, which is the types of the chips. Types of the chip. Okay, there are different types of the chip which is formed when we are using the cutting tool geometry at different velocities, or different depth of cut we are feeding. So that time we there are different types of the chips is produced. That is also depend on the what types of the material we are using. Okay, so this is the content of this unit, which is the basics of the metal cutting operations. By the way, like these are just basic. Okay, if we want to go in advance, then we can discuss about the forces also, which is affiliated with that. Okay, and forces as well as power calculation, work done, material and mole rate, there is a different things. But just I just want to brief you about the basics of the metal cuttings. Okay, so this is the content that we are going to discuss. So in this lecture I will try to finish first these two topic, which is the principle and purpose of the metal cutting operations, and second one, which is a concept of the directrix and generatrix. Okay, so let's start. So first is the purpose of the machining. Okay, okay, so I have written some of the definitions. So first of all, I'm just reading that one, and then I will explain you what's the meaning of this. Okay. Okay, so purpose of the machining is most of the engineering components, such as gears, bearings, clutches, tools, screw, and the nuts, etc., needs the dimensional accuracy and surface finish for the servicing their purposes. So whatever the whatever the mechanical components we have, like gears, bearings, clutches, nut and bolts, we can say there are a number of elements are there. So these elements needed the dimensional accuracies, because whatever the wherever we are using, it has some specific dimensions, and accordingly that from low to high, okay, means wherever we are using these elements, so that depends that what types of the material is needed. And as per the materials, if we are increasing the cost, then definitely there will be a need of the surface finish, okay, to fulfill their purpose, or to fulfill their service, to provide the service to wherever we are using it, okay. So let's talk about a simple element, which is a gear, okay. So just try to assume what just try to assume that this is a kind of gear, we can say, okay. Why I'm saying just try to assume, because this is not uniform, okay. But just I want to brief you, that's why I'm using, okay. So this black color is basically the teeth, and this is basically the base circle of that, okay, of the gear, we can say. On the basis of that, basically we are designing it, okay. So here somewhere at the center is there, and with respect to that center, we are designing, or we are manufacturing the gear by machining process, okay. So what we have to do is, if we are producing the, like, just assume that initially we have a casted product, okay, because till now we have discussed about the casting only. So we have a casted product, okay, and if we want to go for a casting, means if I want to produce this, if I want to produce this gear by using the casting, then what I have to do, I have to create a pattern, okay, that if we are going for a simple casting, then we can use, we can say that wood pattern is needed, and that wood pattern is as per the wood pattern is as per the whatever the material. Like for an example, if we are going for a cast, if we want to cast this gear of the aluminium or like ferrous, okay. So these materials has different kind of the allowances that we have discussed, shrinkage allowances, okay, and apart from that also there are different types of the allowances. So if it has a, like, if we are talking about the material, then we are talking about only the allowances, okay, shrinkage allowance. So these materials has a shrinkage allowance, means when it will come from liquid to the solidification, when its solidification start, it has a liquid shrinkage at solidification, because complete material will be solidified, so it has a solidification shrinkage. Then from solidification to the solid, to the room temperature it will reach, so it has a solid contractions. So it depends on the material, that what types of the material we are using, okay, that we have already gone through in the previous lecture. So this is basically the materials that we are using, and as per their allowances, we are making the pattern, okay. So pattern is like some specific size, we are taking some large size only, okay, and we are manufacturing this one. So what actually is, what I want to say is, like for an example, I want to produce this gear, okay. Then what I will do, if I will use the same pattern, same size pattern, then what will happen, if there will be a contraction during the solidification, then the actual size should not be retained. Actual size will not be achieved, okay. So for an example, if we define this by the base circle diameter, so whatever the diameter that we have, like dB for an example, so if we are designing the pattern of a dB size only. So when we will now pattern is prepared, we are just filling the molding sand over that, and we are just taking it out. So when this is now the mold cavity is created, when you will fill the molten material into that, okay, and during the solidification, and when it will reach to the solid, it will become solid. The actual size will not be regained. Actual size should not be achieved, because we actually need the dimension of that is dB of this gear. But if we are using the aluminum for an example, then there will be a contraction. So what will happen, the if we want this size, teeth size like this, but it will not be like this, it will be like this one, okay, it will be like this. So what we have to do, we first of all we have to calculate that what is which, for which material we are going for a casting, and for these gears. So accordingly we have to calculate the shrinkage or this allowances, and then we have to design the gear. Okay. Now for an example, okay, for an example, like if we uh, if we take the larger size, for an example, I exactly need this size of the black color is basically this one, the actual teeth. Okay, or just try to assume that these teeth are same only. Okay, this is uneven, that's why that will be a confusion. So what we can do is we can choose the teeth size little bit larger. Okay, so what will happen that whatever the teeth larger size we are taking, if like for an example, if we have set these dimension of the pattern as per the contraction rate of this aluminum, for an example, if we are manufacturing the gears of the aluminum, then what will happen that actually the material will be deposited over here, but it will reach to this black one, it will reach to the black one. Okay, for an example, if it is little bit greater than this, for an example, if actually we need this one, and this is the like actually pattern size, this blue color we used. Okay, then when it will be a contraction, it will reach to like this, for an example, it has been reached up to this. So what is the meaning is this much size is basically the extra, this is the extra amount of the material, means this gear is not produced as per the requirement. Okay, so what we can do is we can go for a machining operations and we can remove this material, this extra amount of the material. Fine. So this is a way through which we can produce the gears. Or there is another way is like whatever the dimension is you needed actually this along with this teeth. So we are in the beginning basically we are casting a disc. Okay, whatever the thickness of that gear is needed or width we can say inside this plane. Okay, so we are using, just try to assume that this is again circular in it will be looks like a disc. So if we have to make the teeth on that, so what we can do is we have basic circle, we have the base circle, and on the basis of that base circle we are producing the teeth, such kind of teeth we are producing. Okay, fine. So what will happen? How we will produce this teeth? That whatever the extra amount of the material. Now this is basically the extra amount of the material. This is basically the extra amount of the material. Okay. So we have to remove this one. So for this removal of this material, we are using the machining operations or metal cutting we are using. Okay. So now the purpose is clear, guys. Okay. That why we are using the machinings. Whatever the casted product we have. Okay, whatever initially we have the casted product. Okay, and then at the end we are applying, means in between we are applying the machining operations, and then the final product will be produced, but in between them whatever the casted product that we have, from we are getting the final product, so here we are applying the machining operations, we are applying the machining operations. There are different types of the machining operations are available, so that we are applying, and through which basically we can produce the final product by using the casted product. Okay, sometimes it is also written like the casted product is basically the raw material. Okay, raw material is also like here we have to produce the uh, gear. So raw material we are assuming as a like disc or this type, either this is the disc or this type of the gear is available. Okay, so if we have to go for a dimensional accuracy, and so we need the dimensional, we have to remove this extra amount of the material, means dimensional accuracy, or surface finish, means there are different types of the machining operations, so precision machining can also be achieved. So for that we are using the surface finishing operations. Okay, so this is basically the purpose of the machining. Fine, let's move to the principle. Okay, so now I think this definition is clear to you guys, the purpose of the machining. Okay, that most of the engineering components such as gear, for an example, let's talk about the gear only. So needs the dimensional accuracy or surface finish for service their purposes. So whatever the purpose, like casted product we have, but it needs the dimensional accuracy. So for that we have to go for a machining operation. So this is basically the purpose of the machining. Okay, now let's move to the principle, and again the same way, like first of all I'm just I using this definition, then I will explain you guys. So a metal rod of irregular shape, size, and the surface is converted into the finished rod of desired dimensions or surface by machining by proper relative motions between the of the tool and the workpiece pair. Okay, so what's the meaning is okay, so here I'm just using a simple operation. I hope that all of you have seen the lathe machine, okay, during your workshops. Okay, so I'm just using that one. So if you will see the lathe machine, then the lathe machine, one sided this chuck is mounted. Okay, it can be a 3 jar chuck or 4 jar chuck. So chuck is mounted, which is connected with the assemblies, okay, which is connected with the gear assemblies or spindle, we can say, or power assembly, we can say. So that is basically through the spindle, basically that is connected with the different types of the gear mechanism, and then it's a motor power is there. Okay, so when we are starting the motor, the gear is rotating and accordingly the spindle is rotating. So whatever the rpm is needed, accordingly we are maintaining. Okay, there is a this facility is available. So what's the purpose of this chuck is we can mount any kind of workpiece on which we have to operate the machining, so that that is rotating. Okay, so this is a chuck which is rotating. On other side we have a dead center or tailstock, we can say. Okay, this is a live center because it's rotating, and that's a dead center because it's not rotating. Okay, so this tailstock is assembly is there. So here I am talking about only this part, which is a chuck. Okay, so this shaft is mounted inside the chuck. The shaft is mounted inside the chuck, and we are applying this rotation. Okay, now there is a tool post is there over the over the cross slide. So here we are using the tool. That tool generally most of the time we use the single point cutting tool only, and we will discuss the geometry of that. I forgot to mention in the content part, but we will discuss that one. So here we are using the single point cutting tool. Okay, this tool is mounted on the tool post. Okay, this is basically mounted on the tool post. So this is a tool post over which this is a single point cutting tool. This is single point cutting tool is mounted. Okay, so this is basically the shaft, this blue color, and this is a spindle or chuck, we can say, sorry. Okay, this chuck is backside, it is connected with the spindle, so that is rotating, and this chuck will also rotate. So what I want to say here is, like here I just want to add some of the things which will be, I think, new to you, because the students, those who are from food tech, they are in first year only. So guys, for that, for you only, I'm just using all these terminology. Okay, so here we are discussing a few I'm a few things which is I just want to add here. That is, first is the turning. Okay, then it's facing. These two are the operations. Apart from this, we are using here the term that is depth of cut. The depth of cut I'm representing with the small d. Okay, then it's a feed. Feed, that is we are representing with the small f, and that is presented in a mm per revolution. Okay, then if there will be anything, I will explain, I will add over here. Okay, so here this is the diameter that we are assuming initially, whatever the road we have, that is of capital D diameter. And we have up to this one, just try to assume, because when whatever the amount that you have inserted inside the chuck, that cannot be machined at the same time. Okay, so I'm just assuming that up to this the length is capital L. Okay, so for an example, like okay, this is the pen. Okay, so just try to assume that this is the shaft. Okay, so if I have to reduce this diameter, okay, just think, look at here, that if I have to reduce the diameter, then what I have to do, I have to move in this direction. Okay, I have to initially I have to keep some depth of cut, and I have to move in this direction. So while when we are removing this diameter, means the material which we are removing, then now the diameter is reduced. For that we have, this is rotating, okay, this is rotating, and this is a tool, so we will move in this direction after giving some depth of cut. Okay, so this operation is call it as a, we call it as a turning. Okay, this operation is basically the turning. Now for an example, if like you can see that this is some nip is there, so I want that I just want to make it flat. Okay, flat means some flat cross sectional area. So what I have to do, I have to remove this much amount of the material, right? So now I will keep the single point cutting tool like this, and I will move towards the center. So when I will move towards the center, as it is rotating, so I will move towards the center, so the material will remove from this cross sectional area, this cross sectional area. And at the same time, we cannot give this much amount of the depth of cut, but one by one we can reduce this diameter. Okay, so like that, this operation we call it as a facing. So whatever the material in face, on the face, when, because this is the face from front view, so from which we are removing the material. Okay, so that's why we are calling it as a facing. So this is the turning, this is the turning, and this is facing. Okay, so like here, this is the tool post. So here we are keeping this single point cutting tool. Okay, and this is basically the depth of cut. Here, whatever, here basically this is the depth of cut, small d. Okay, this is the depth of cut. Means when you will move this single point cutting tool in this direction, as this is rotating, so when you will move, as you have maintained the depth of cut, so this much amount of the material will be removed up to this one. Okay, up to this, so this much amount of the material is removed. But is like if you will see this view, then this is the front view only. Okay, so it's not like from one side only the material is removed. It is, as it is rotating, so from both the sides the material will be removed. Okay, both the sides means front view you can see only two sides, otherwise this material is removed throughout the periphery, whatever the depth of cut you have maintained. So if you will see final diameter, then final actual diameter will be capital D, and the depth of cut small d that you have maintained, so this small d is removed in this side as well as in this side. Okay, so the final diameter will be remaining like, that is small capital D minus 2d. Okay, so this is the final diameter. So this is basically the turning operations. Uh, now if we have to like for an example, if we have to remove if we have to go for a facing operation, okay, then what we are doing, in this side, now I cannot make this figure, so I am making this figure. Now in this position we are keeping the single point cutting tool like this. Okay, this is your tool post. Okay, over the single point cutting tool is mounted, and this is the depth of cut we are maintaining. This is, and initially this is the length, so this is the small d, that is depth of cut we are maintaining. Okay, so now as you have to rotate it, just give the direction, feed direction to the tool in this direction up to the center. Okay, so when you will move in this direction, this much amount of the material is removed. Now you cannot see, you cannot say that half of the material is removed, because this is rotating, this is rotating, so this portion will also come in contact with the tool when it will rotate. Okay, so this complete area, this complete area will be volume will be removed, okay, during this operation. So this operation is basically the facing. So if you will see, if you want to calculate the length, then this length will be equals to, from actually it was here, this is the L. Okay, and now this much is only remaining, so this is L minus small d. Okay, because depth of cut small d, depth of cut small d, depth of cut you have maintained. Okay, you have removed from the facing. So this is the turning operation, and this is the facing operation, right? So now and one more thing is that the feed that we are taking in the mm per revolution, what, why we are taking that is in the mm per revolution, because is we are moving this tool in this direction. This is the reciprocating motion only, this is not rotating, please keep in mind guys. Okay, so this is just a reciprocating motion. So reciprocating means we are just moving this single point cutting tool like this, okay, towards the center, towards the like finishing operations, whatever the turning or facing we are doing. So this is rotating this shaft, and we are keeping like this. Okay, we are moving this tool like this. So this is basically the reciprocating motion. Okay, so this reciprocating motion, so we are like if we are talking about the reciprocating motion, then this if we measure this whatever the length that we are traveling, that we can measure into the meter, centimeter, or mm. So here we are measuring that into the mm. Okay, so this is mm, that is millimeter. Okay, upon revolution. So why revolution is there? Because is we are moving in this direction. Let's just consider that we are not rotating this shaft. Okay, so if we are not rotating this shaft, then what will happen? Okay, let's consider this one. Okay, so this is the shaft. Okay, so if we are maintaining this depth of cut, for an example, this is the depth of cut we are maintaining. So we have to remove this material. Okay, so what we have to do, if we have maintained this depth of cut, okay, then we will push it in this direction. Then the material will not remove, because here neither this tool has that much strength that it can just uh, remove the material stationary stationary it cannot remove the material from the stationary shaft. So what we have to do is we have to rotate it. Okay, we have to rotate it in whatever the depth of cut is maintained. We have to move in this direction after rotation is start, right? So once the rotation is start, we are moving in this direction. So what we have to decide is, like for an example, this much amount of the this, like just consider that this is like 1 centimeter, like 10 mm we can say. So this 10 mm is reduced in one revolution. Okay, so one revolution is of, like, from here I have started. So when it will rotate complete, like for an example where it is, okay, like there is some notches there. So from here we have started. So when it is rotating like this and coming to this, then there is a one revolution. So in this, during this one revolution, this tool, if you will see this tool, then actually it was here at the zero time, and it has been moved up to this one. Okay, so this 1 mm is removed during the one revolution. So that's why I have written that is mm per revolution. Okay, this feed is considered for the lathe operation, that is in mm per revolution. Okay, guys. So the principle is uh, a metal rod of irregular shape, size, and the surface. Okay, this is irregular shape and size was there, so we have to remove the material, that to be converted into the finished rod. Means final diameter here we need, that is capital D minus 2d, that is small d, and the final length that is needed, that is the capital L minus small d. Okay, into the finished road of the desired dimensions and the surface, because if we are, when we are removing the material, no doubt this surface will also be cleaned, but this will be cleaned only when we are keeping this speed low, as low as possible. Okay, by machining. Okay, this is the, when there is a tool and the workpiece contact is there, and they are basically in motion. So this is, we are calling it as by machining, by proper relative motion of the tool and the workpiece. So here this is the tool, single point cutting tool, as I mentioned. Okay, and this is the workpiece, this rod. So when we are maintaining a proper channel, we are making proper pair of the workpiece and the tool, that time the material start removing from the workpiece area. This is, we call it as machining. So this is the principle. Okay, okay, so let's move to the concept of the directrix and generatrix. This is important because whenever you will see the material, any material, whether it's finished product or like, okay, let's finish product, then you will see some kind of lines on that workpiece surface. Okay, so what we have to do is, like, this is the this is actually the duster, but just try to assume that this is the thickness we have. This is the workpiece of this much, this cross sectional area. Okay, and this is throughout the length. Okay, throughout the length means complete whatever the L length it has. So whatever the cross sectional area at the beginning, that has up to the L length. Okay, so now this green color is basically, we are assuming, we are keeping that this is a workpiece, and this is the tool we have. Okay, so when we have this tool, okay, so initially we are maintaining some depth of cut, you can see like that, like this. Okay, this is the depth of cut is maintained, and now what we have to do is, we either, this tool should move in this direction, or tool is stationary and the workpiece should move in this direction. Okay, so this is also a different kind of machining operations. Not, I have discussed that into the uh, lathe. It's not the lathe. Okay, this is a shaper kind of operation. So what we have to do is, if we have to remove this much, this width, okay, and this is the length we are assuming. So what we have to remove the material, for an example, just now you will see, from the front view, sorry, just try to assume this is the top view from you are looking here. So this green color, this has some width and it has some length, okay, and also it has some thickness. So this is the top view, okay, and this is the front view. Okay, so here like it has, when you will see the top view it has some width and it has some length. When you will see the front view, it has some thickness, okay, and it has some length, okay. So this is capital T is the thickness it has and capital L is the length, and here we are using capital W is basically the width, okay. So here as I said that we are removing this not complete material but green color only. So what we have to do, we have to maintain some depth of cut. So this here we are taking the single point cutting tool, okay, and this is mounted on the tool post, and this is the depth of cut we are have to remove. Fine, this is the depth of cut or the thickness we have to remove. So now if you will see from this view, top view, then when you will hold this single point cutting tool like this, when you will move in this direction, so you can see that the width of this workpiece surface is quite greater than the this diameter of this single point cutting tool, okay, or the width of this single point cutting tool, right? So if we are maintaining, for an example, if we are keeping this single point cutting tool over here, then it will not remove the complete width in a single motion, okay, in a single way. So single way means in a single motion we can say, like because here when we are maintaining, okay, this single point cutting tool is moving in this direction, okay. So it means that this much amount of the material has been removed, this thickness of the material, this depth of cut of the material has been removed, but this is removed only from this area, from this area, right? Now what we have to do, we have to remove, now this is removed, okay. Now we have to move in this direction, then we'll move in this direction, again we'll come here, then we'll move in this direction, like that. So first we are moving in this direction, we are removing the material, then the again single point cutting tool will come over here and we will move this workpiece in this direction. So now the single point cutting tool will come over here, now in this will move in this direction and it will remove this much of the volume, okay, from this cross sectional area. Now we will again we will feed to the workpiece in this direction, and now this will be the single point cutting tool position. Now again we have to give a reciprocating motion, and this will remove the material from this area, okay. Now again what we have to do, we will move this workpiece in this direction, and the single point cutting tool will come over here and this will remove the material from this area, right? Okay, so this is now whatever the width we have taken, it has taken four reciprocating motion, right, to the work of the workpiece. So what I want to say is, when we are moving in this direction, when we are moving in this direction, when we are moving in this direction, that time the material is removed from the workpiece area. So we call this as a generatrix, okay. And when we are moving in this direction to remove extra amount of the to remove the remaining amount of the material, we call this as a directrix, okay. So now I'm taking a same example, okay. This is the top view and this is the front view, okay. Now, as I said that we are keeping this tool over here and we are moving in this direction. There is another way to remove this surface. To remove this surface, that uh, I can keep this single point cutting tool over here. Means I can keep this single point cutting tool over here, right? And I can move in this direction, right? Again, I will this single point cutting tool over here. Then we will move this workpiece in this direction, and this will be cut it out. Okay. Now in this moving like this, okay, like this. So what we can do is we can keep this single point cutting tool over here. Okay. Initially the same depth of cut we are removing. So this is D. Okay, and we are keeping the single point cutting tool over here, and this much amount of the material is removed. Okay, now this single point cutting tool is moving in this direction and the material is removed. Again, the single point cutting tool will come over here. Now this give the feed to the workpiece in this direction. So now the single point cutting tool position will be here. So again, the single point cutting tool will move in this direction. So that will remove this much amount of the material. Now again, it will come to the original position over here, and then the give the feed to the workpiece in this direction. Okay, so this much, like this the material is removed. Fine. So now what is happening, that we are moving in this direction to remove the material, so we call this as a generatrix. Okay, and for the removal of the remaining amount for the removal of the remaining amount of the material, we are moving in this direction, we are moving this tool in this direction, so we call this as a directrix. Okay, so for a same material, okay, for a same workpiece, we can say we can remove the material from number of ways. So but we have to just find out that in which direction we are removing the material. Okay, by the way, in all these directions, the generatrix only you will get, generatrix only. Okay, here this is the generatrix. Okay, but what is the direction generatrix? If you will see here, then this is horizontal and the directrix is vertical. Here the generatrix is vertical and the generatrix is vertical and the directrix is horizontal. So this directions can be changed, but the concept should be clear to you. Okay, so this is basically the concept. Now this is basically the example of the uh, flat operations. Now let's talk about the cylindrical body. Okay, cylindrical body is easy, and that I have discussed in the principal part. Okay, so this is basically now we are keeping this depth of cut over here. Okay, this is the depth of cut, and we are moving the single point cutting tool in this direction. Okay, so this much amount of the material is removed from the workpiece area. Okay, this much amount of the material is removed from the workpiece area. Okay, now so when you will see this is the my water bottle. Okay, so when you will see, this is some lightning is there, so that will not be visible, but now you can see in this figure, so this is basically the well, this is the clean surface, quite good. Okay, so when you will see over here, you will see that this is the lines. Okay, these lines. Okay, these are the lines. Now now when we are going for the turning operation, okay, for an example, turning operations, so what we have to initially, we have this capital D diameter. Okay, and final diameter would be capital D minus 4d, 4 small d. Okay, or yeah, 4 small d. Okay, so when you have operated once, okay, small d depth of cut material has been removed from the workpiece area, right? Now again, what you have to do, you give the feed to the workpiece, to the tool in this direction. Now the tool direction, now this much amount of the material has been removed, and keep this tool over here. Okay, so again now we have maintained this depth of cut. So for an example here, what we can say is, like in this direction, this is basically the generatrix which has been removed the material, and whatever the remaining amount of the material, for that we are moving in this direction, for that we are moving in this direction. So this is basically the directrix. Okay, now this is the turning. Now let's talk about the facing. So facing is just like from this shaft only, the same diameter. Okay, so now this is basically the front view. So here we have to keep this tool. Okay, so when you will keep this tool and maintain some depth of cut, at that time you have to rotate it and give the feed to the tool in this direction. So that will move in this direction, and that is removing the material. Now when this tool will move up to this much only, then this much amount of the material only removed from the peripheral area. Means what I want to say is, we'll keep this tool over here, and first we will move up to here. Okay, so only this much amount of the material is removed, right? So what we are doing is, when we are moving in this direction, only this much amount of the material is removed. If we have to remove this complete cross section, if we have to face this complete cross section, then what we have to do, now we are here, initially we were here, initially we were here, now we are at here. Now what we have to move in this direction, or we can say towards the center. Okay, so if I want to make these lines over here, then first of all you will keep the single point cutting tool over here. That will remove the material, right? This will remove the material. Okay, now let's move this ace. This is done, so we'll move this single point cutting tools in this direction. Now this much amount of the material is removed. Okay, again we are moving towards the center, so keep this single point cutting tool over here. Not keep, basically you have to feed it. Okay, now this much amount of the material is removed, and at the end up to towards the center, so this much amount of the material is removed. Fine, so now the finishing is done, facing is done, sorry. Okay, so this is how we will define the generatrix and the directrix here. That this is basically is the material is removed during the rotation, so this rotation is basically the generatrix, and for the removal of the remaining material we are moving towards the center, towards the center, so this is basically the directrix. Okay, so if you will see this front face, then you can see that this circular, okay, this is the circular shapes is visible now. Here you cannot see because its lighting is there, but now it's in figure it's clearly mentioned that this is the lines. Okay, so if you will see, if we will define that for the removal of the material, like initially we are finishing, so we are moving in this direction, so this is the generatrix, and perpendicular to that we are moving in this direction, that how much amount of the material we have to remove in which direction, so this is basically the directrix. Here if you will talk about this shape, okay, this shape, then this is basically the generatrix. Okay, and we have to remove excess or rest of the material, we are moving toward this side, so this is basically the directrix. Okay guys, so I think this concept of the generatrix and the directrix is clear to you. In this video we are stopping up to here. In the next video we will start from the relationship or basic terminology. Okay, so thank you so much guys.